Good morning. I invite you to hear these words for our chalice lighting by Reverend Suzelle Lynch. Nurturing beauty. Our community is filled with beauty. When you open the door to greet me, that's where the beauty begins. When you share with me what's important to you, beauty is there as I listen. When we join hands to practice compassion, beauty's heart blooms like a flower. When we teach or learn or work for justice, beauty abounding sparks joy in all. Let's light the chalice for beauty now. The beauty we seek, the beauty we share, the beauty we nurture together. Will you join me in the affirmation? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. Can you hear me back there? Okay. Welcome to People's Church. We are a welcoming congregation and an eighth principle congregation. This means we welcome people of all sexual orientations and genders, races, and ethnicities. We are an anti-racist and anti-oppression of all groups of people, and we act on all our beliefs. We welcome you, whether you're a longtime member, a first-time visitor, or somewhere in between. We welcome you to walk with us as we all take our spiritual journeys through life, regardless of background, religious history, belief system, love life, social status, body type, or age. All are welcome here. We welcome you whether you feel weak and unsure, emotionally, physically, financially, or strong and ready to take on the world. We welcome you whether you question your identity at the deepest levels or are confident you know exactly who you are. Everyone is warmly welcomed to People's Church. My name is Paulette. I'm one of the worship associates here at People's Church, and I'm joined here today by Judy on the piano, Kate and Robin running the tech, Bill is running the sound system today, and our interim director of faith formation, Andrea Hawkins-Kemper, is sharing the time for all ages, the story for all ages. Our preacher is our interim pastor, David Weiss, and Chris is leading hymns, while Randy is our special musician. There are a couple of announcements. Building community capacity to prevent violence is a Zoom training that will be on 4 successive Thursdays. The first one is May 12th at 3 p.m. via Zoom. The second 3 are May 19th, 26th, and June 2nd. Each session will last 1 hour and 15 minutes. This training has been funded, there is no fee, and it's designed to understand local efforts to reduce community violence, to build stronger relationships with Reset, working with parents and community members, building resiliency and reduce stress, build a sense of community, build community capacity to prevent violence, and you can get more information on how to register in The Voice. Our annual meeting is May 15th, following worship. Remember to look for a bright yellow postcard with details coming in the mail in the next couple weeks. And it looks like David has a couple things to share.
When you receive the yellow card regarding the annual meeting, it will talk about bylaw changes. And I just want to recap those for you once again, very briefly. They are designed to bring us into the modern era. The ability to do meetings via Zoom and to have them be legal. The ability to email information as opposed to having to mail it via the postal service. The option will always be there to get it via the postal service, but if we can send it out via email, it makes it a lot easier as far as the labor necessary to do that, as well as the cost of sending those out. So it's a benefit to the congregation if we're able to do it via email, but we can also do it via the postal service. That's what the bylaw changes are. Is simply to allow us to be able to operate as a 21st century organization in some ways, giving us the ability to do that. The other thing with the meeting next week is that we do elect a new president for the coming year, and we elect a new board member and re-elect some current board members. At least that is the plan at this point. There may be nominations and things may change, but I don't think that's ever happened in my time here at Peoples, where there have been nominations from the floor. But we will elect folks next week to fill the board positions and the office of president. As you move throughout the building, as you may remember from last week, we do have Wi-Fi throughout the building now. And that should be good. If you find an area that does not have good Wi-Fi, let me know, because we have a contract with them. They will come out and they will take care of that, because we need to have Wi-Fi throughout the entire building. Welcome to worship this morning. It is Mother's Day, which always means that worship attendance is down a little bit because so many people are doing things in other ways and other places this morning. But we're glad that you are here at People's Church.
My mother always promised us we would live in France. We'd go boating on Seine. I would learn to dance. We lived in Ohio then. She worked on the lines. On her dreams like boats we'd use to sail through time. All my sisters soon moved on to Denver and Cheyenne, marrying their grown-up dreams, lilacs and a man. I stayed behind, the youngest still, always danced alone. The colors of my mother's dreams faded without a sound. And I live in Paris now, my children dance and dream, hearing the words of a worker's life in words they've never seen. I sail my memories up high like boats across the Seine, and watch the Paris sunsets in my mother's eyes again.
Witness by Sharon Wiley. We speak so often of brokenness in religious life. Let us speak today of wholeness. You are welcome here, all of you. Every part of you, beautiful just the way you are. Here, you do not need to be something more or something less. No holding back, no hiding, no exerting yourself, no trying to do more or be more. You have inherent worth and dignity. Nothing to prove here. Nothing to prove to me or the person sitting next to you or the children or to anyone. You don't have to try to be witty or more quiet or more outgoing. You are beautiful. Every part of you. Beautiful just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all beautiful, just the way they are. You are extraordinary. Each and every one of you different from each and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. Let us worship together. Our first hymn is number 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known. I invite you to stand as you are able or to remain seated as is best for you.
Good morning. This morning's story is entitled The Breaking News, and it is written and illustrated by Sarah Lynn Rule. I remember when we heard the bad news. Suddenly, Mom is glued to the television. Dad can't stop checking his phone. They whisper. I pretend not to hear. It is more than a little bit scary. Mom forgot to tuck me in. Dad, too tired for bedtime stories. It seems like everyone else feels it too. At school, my teacher says to look for the helpers. And even when the news is bad, you can still find good people trying to make things better in big, small ways. I want to help in a big way. I decide to put on the funniest show ever to make everyone laugh again. And grown-ups don't feel like laughing. Even the dog doesn't feel like laughing. I tell them about the force fields I'll invent to keep us all safe, but their smiles are tiny and sad. I try to be on my best behavior all the time to be so good, but they hardly even notice. I think maybe there is nothing I can do to help in a big way. I feel small. So maybe I can try to do just one small thing. And maybe another, and another, and maybe one more. Small things don't solve everything. The bad news is still there, after all. But then again, so are we. Thank you.
Our first reading is Something Wild and Unbroken by Carrie Newcomer. Riding my bike down a narrow country road, to one side a dense forest, on the other side a wide summer meadow. Then right there beside me, a graceful young doe was bounding in beautiful unhurried leaps. And for just a moment, we were two deer running together in the blue evening light. Then, with a burst of speed, she dashed in front of me and disappeared into the woods, leaving me breathless with a feeling of visitation, of Holy Communion, like I'd been touched ever so briefly by something wild and unbroken. Since that moment, the world has felt less weary. Like anything and everything is still completely possible. And now Chris will lead us in hymn number 1053, How Could Anyone?
We'll sing through this one twice. Could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Oh, could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
That one's a heart stopper, isn't it? This is a quote by Andre Ackerman. We'll do anything to watch a sunset on a clear summer day at the beach. We'll stand and stare and remain silent as suffused shades of orange stretch over the horizon. Call it enchantment, the difference between the time-bound and the timeless, between us and the otherworldly. All beauty and art evoke harmonies that transport us to a place where for only seconds time stops and we are one with the world. It is the best life has to offer. Under the spell of beauty, we experience a rare condition called plenitude, where we want for nothing.
Mother's Day is one of those complicated days. I was very fortunate, even though my biological mom was killed when I was 9 months old. I was adopted by my grandparents and had a wonderful mom that raised me, and had some pseudo moms that were always there as well. But I know that's not the case for everyone. And I know there are lots of mixed emotions of people who did not have good homes and good moms. For those who want to be moms but aren't able to be. And for all of the other possibilities and array of situations that are out there, it's complicated. Hear these words from Becky Brooks. Even in the most broken places, there is room for love. Mother's Day is complicated. Joyful for many, yes, but complicated. It's right there on the calendar, even if your mother has died. Even if you've been told yet again that you're still not pregnant, or if you've never been more scared than you are right now because you are pregnant, It's Mother's Day. Even if your own mother's priorities included everything but you, there's going to be a Mother's Day Google Doodle with flowers and pink stuff. Even if you have scars, ones you can see or ones you can't, it's Mother's Day. That cake mix commercial is going to roll out 4 times an hour, even when you can't stop shaking and crying because you can't believe you slapped your little boy today. It's Mother's Day. And we all have to live with that in those silent, breathless moments, because even when the baby dies, it's Mother's Day. And so, let's go to church. Let's be a church where we can acknowledge how difficult it is to have this day, right alongside how joyful this day can be. Let's be a church where we don't pretend there aren't inky depths of space between us, even when we sing. Let's be a church that fills the space between our differences with love. Because even in the most broken places, there is room for love. We can be that church. It has been an interesting week, to say the very least. Lots of emotions have been spilling over this week. On top of the weeks leading up to it in the state of Iowa, with other issues that have caused great emotion. It's not always easy facing what we face, believing what we believe, fighting for what we fight for. Times are hard. Times are difficult. And sometimes it's really hard to find the beauty in the things around us. It's so easy, it seems, to see all the bad and the negative, but not so easy to see the beautiful. Yesterday, I watched the Kentucky Derby and some of the lead up to the Kentucky Derby, and it's like the Super Bowl anymore, it seems like. They do like 5 hours of pre-game coverage or pre-race coverage. But beautiful, beautiful horses that are just absolutely so sleek and majestic. Like they don't have a care in the world. And when you see those horses up close, and just how beautiful they really are, it really is a great sight to see. When I was in high school, I got to see Secretariat at her retirement farm. Just a beautiful, beautiful specimen of a horse. We can find beauty in something like that. For me, I can find beauty in the sunrise over the Atlantic Ocean. There's very little that is more beautiful than that. Beauty abounds in lots of places and lots of ways. Maybe it's holding hands with your partner of 50 years as they transition. Maybe it's hearing the cry of that newborn child, or the screams of the toddler. Or maybe that beauty comes in experiencing the angst of the teenager. There's beauty in there somewhere, I assure you. Seeing the flowers as they bud and open. Hearing the birds as they sing their songs. Seeing the butterflies. All kinds of ways that we can see beauty. And yes, even at times we can see beauty in politics. It might be hard, but it can be done. But beauty is different for each and every person. Not everyone sees it the same way. Not everyone is amazed by that sunrise over the Atlantic like I am. Not everyone is amazed by the butterflies that you see flying around. Not everyone is intrigued by those flowers. Everybody has their own things that make or that are beautiful to them and give them that peace and that comfort. The important thing for us is to look for that beauty, to look for something that might be a little hard to see at times, to look for something that is not on the surface, but to look deep inside and see where that beauty is. Christopher Boyce wrote a story called The Beauty Contest. Once upon a time in a little village, a sign appeared that said, "Beauty Contest to be held this Saturday at the fairgrounds. There will be a surprise guest judge." All of the young girls in the village were very excited about being in a beauty contest, and they began to prepare for the big day. They all bought new clothes and jewelry. They made appointments to get hairdos. They began spending a lot of time looking in the mirror and practicing their smiles. Well, almost all the girls. There was one girl who was a poor servant. She had no money to buy new clothes or new jewelry. She didn't even have enough money to pay for a new hairdo. In fact, she was so poor she didn't even have a mirror to look in and practice her smile. This poor girl could do nothing at all to prepare for the beauty pageant. Finally, the day for the beauty contest arrived, and all the girls from the village started down the road to the fairgrounds. On this particular day, there was a blind man who was standing by the side of the road. As each person walked by, he asked, "Would you please help me down the road? I'm a blind man, and I cannot see to find my way." But all the young girls were in too big of a hurry to get to the beauty contest, and they just walked on by the blind man. After a while, the poor servant girl walked by, and she saw the blind man. She offered to help him down the road. "Where are you going?" she asked. "I'm going to the fairgrounds," said the blind man. And so the two began walking down the road. When they arrived at the fairgrounds, there was a lot of confusion. There were lots of girls ready for a beauty contest, but there was no judge to be found. All the girls were shouting, "Where is the judge? Where is the judge?" "Here I am," said the blind man. "Sorry I am late." It was quiet for a moment, and everyone was surprised. Finally, one girl said, "You can't judge the beauty contest. You can't see." The blind man laughed. True beauty is something anyone can see. A pretty face is nice, but an act of kindness for a stranger, now that is a beautiful thing. As he spoke, he pinned a blue ribbon on the poor girl's shirt, and on the ribbon were the words "First Prize." "Do not be fooled by false beauty," said the blind man. "The next time you're looking for the winner of your beauty contest, look for someone who is kind and helpful, for the greatest among you shall be your servant." Beauty abounds. Where do you see it? Where do you look for it? How do you find it in your life? Beauty and the oppressed, can they be understood together? For the faithful, the question is, how can they possibly be understood separately? Robert Brown writes. I conclude that concern for beauty is not a moral cop-out. It leads us firmly into the midst of all that is going on in our world. Where beauty is apparent, we are there to enjoy it. Where there is beauty hidden, we are to unveil it. Where there is beauty defaced, we are to restore it. Where there is no beauty at all, we are to create it. So I ask you again, where do you find the beauty? How do you look for it? Even in times of difficulty, in times of worry, in times of trepidation, of fear, there is beauty to be found, and I invite you to search for it and to find it and to celebrate the little bits of beauty that you can find in whatever way they may be. May it be so. Amen. Will you join me in prayer? Sometimes we awake in the morning with a heaviness in our chest. Sometimes we awake in the morning with the endless to-do list rattling through our thoughts, the nagging reminders of what was left undone yesterday, and the pangs of, I have to do it all again today, pinching at our insides. Sometimes we awake in the morning and we'd rather go back to sleep. We would rather escape under the covers, a rock, the bottom of the closet. And then the first sliver of sunshine may dance across our face. Beautiful. And then the wafting scent of a new day may glide over us. Beautiful. And then signs of life blossom around us to include inside of us. Beautiful. Beauty is our birthright, just as we are born in love, through love, and to love. And help us do that. Amen. This is the time for candles, a time when you light a candle for something that is on your heart. Paulette and I will each light candles and place in the bowl. For those of you who would like to participate, you are invited to come down the center aisle, take a candle, light it from the large candle, and place it in the bowl. As you come forward, please be aware of social distancing. Paulette and I will light candles for all of those who were not heard or seen because of their appearance or their beliefs, and all of those impacted by COVID.
The time has come for our offering, if you so choose to donate. There are 4 ways to give. Pretty soon it should be coming up on your screens. If you're in the sanctuary, there are offering plates being passed. You can mail a check to the church, donate online at peoplesuu.org, or use the Vanco mobile app. And now we'll listen to our interlude by Randy. Thank you, Randy. Chris will lead us in our next hymn, 1051, We Are.
If anyone's using a hymnal, we'll repeat the very first section once, but then no repeats after that. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandfather's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. Our mothers of courage and fathers of time. We're daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're mercy and brothers of love. We're lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are keepers of peace, the wind of vocations. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breaths of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
And just a reminder, there will be coffee downstairs in the Andre room. Will you join in the words to extinguish our chalice? We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
sewing lace on widow's weeds and filigree on leaf and vine. Vine and leaf are filigree, and her coat's a second-hand one, trimmed in antique luxury. She is a lady of the canyon. Annie sits you down to eat. She always makes you welcome in. Cats and babies round her feet, and all are fat, none are thin. None are thin and all are fat. She may bake some brownies today, saying you are welcome back. She is a lovely canyon lady. Astray, a circus girl, comes wrapped in songs, gypsy shawls. Songs like tiny hammers hurl at beveled mirrors, empty halls and beveled mirrors. Sailing seas and climbing banyans come up for a visit here to be a lady of the canyon. Trina takes her paints and her threads, and she weaves a pattern all her own. Annie bakes her cakes and her breads, and she gathers flowers for her home. For her home she gathers flowers, and Astray, a dear companion, colors up the sunshine hours, pouring music down the canyon. Coloring the sunshine hours, they are the ladies of the canyon.
Go now in peace, even in the difficult times, even in the troubling times, seeking the beauty wherever it can be found.